Hi everyone, welcome to Zanithan's Manga Moments, ZMM, episode 1. So in this one I'm going to be looking at some of the cool moments, the cool manga moments um, from chapter 0.1.2.3.4 of Jujutsu Kaisen, which covers Yuto's story. Um, some really cool manga moments here, but got some few screenshots we want to kind of go through. Uh, but yeah, let's kick things off with this one here. So I really liked when he kind of walks in, as you can see there. Um, he kind of walks in top left. Um, sorry, top right. Uh, they're like, come on in, and they're like, oh, the atmosphere is whatever. Gonna give him the silent treatment. Everyone's kind of like preparing themselves of how they're gonna like treat him. He's cursed. He's got a special great curse. Um, cursor. But yeah, so these things following him around, and it is mega scary, powerful. So as soon as he kind of steps in, as we can see, in the middle right there, you can see all three of their face just freak out. I still remember this in the anime. So cool to read it back in the manga and to see that it's just as heavy. The manga is, yeah. So these panels look just as heavy as the actual show. So they did a good job in the show. So all three of them freaked out, and then you see Utah just walking there with Rika, I believe its name is the curse. I forgot the curse's name now. Um, this thing is just it's really weird. It's got to do with like this little girl, this girl that he liked or something. I think like that when they were kids, and um, yeah, she gets hit right in front of him by a car on the road. It's pretty tragic, and obviously all those negative feelings and that experience got turned into a curse, which resulted in this curse that we see in front of us. That's kind of walking and taking care of him, but it's stuck onto him. But it's mega cool. He just looks like I love the flipped colors there on the right. It's very how do I say it? It's very like the lighting's very critical. Obviously it's manga, so it's black and white, but the way he's kind of drawn it is like um, just looks very heavy. Um, it's very cool, very cool. So I wanted to include this one. Obviously, then in the next page, top left, we've got it's like I'm Yuta Okotsu, nice to meet you, and they're all just like undoing the zips, like pulling out the weapons, um, and just getting ready to pretty much to kill him, which doesn't end up happening, but I still say that that's it was a pretty cool moment. How are we with time? 3 minutes in, one panel. It's not good. So moving on to the next one. I like the desperation in here. This panel here, I decided to screenshot this. So basically, we're just going to get screenshots of the pages instead of trying to cut out the individual panels, and we'll just kind of talk about what makes them special, or how they look, or what aspects caught my eye. Um, we're not going to rank or anything like that. We're just going to go through them and look at some super cool manga moments. Um, so yeah, they're ended up inside this curse now, and she thinks she's gonna die. She obviously doesn't have strength like he does in terms of resistance. Um, and he has this kind of moment here, which is very cool. I love the in the bottom left. You've got the dramatic close up. Um, the tears kind of coming out of the eyes, and it's very cool. Captures that kind of desperation. They're in the curse's like stomach. It's pretty desperate scenario. Um, Next up, kind of wanted to capture Ghetto, being silly as always. When he arrives at the school, to kind of like declare war on them. Um, I love how he kind of plays the silly person character, and then he just kind of like, as we can see in top right, bottom right, and then he just like zooms right up to Utah just to talk to him, and they again have one of those moments where like they freak out because he's so fast. And again, this is portrayed with the heavy shading, and um, it's even over the characters. Now it's not. over his eyes, the black on his eyes, but it's not necessarily over the whole panda, all of panda, or the other two. So yeah, but still, it looks very cool. Like, it's over her hair, Zanin's hair, but Maki, I believe her name was. I'm blanking right now. Um, very cool, very cool. It really feels like you can feel the motion in that panel. They're so fast. Anyways, I thought that was super sick, and yeah, I wanted to include that. Um, thought it was super cool. So let's move on to the next one. Here again, he's kind of talking to her and saying, I want to be more like you. Um, it's nice. I like this panel on the right, and she's got the blush kind of thing. I like that. Because again, it portrays her kind of insecurity. And she's I didn't get this blush as in like a I like him blush. I got this blush as in more of a her finally being like feeling proud of herself or something like that. Like, oh, don't go thinking you've been recognized or something. Pretty cool. But I think the reason, to be honest with you, the reason most of all that I screenshotted this panel was obviously Ghetto in the top left. Um, Ghetto's got a nice face. He's one of my favorite characters. He's very cool, calm, long hair. Nice character. But in the manga, obviously, he's got like this panel is the first time that we see him like for the absolute psycho that he is. So obviously, emerge from darkness, blacker than darkness, purify that which is impure, and they do the they cast a veil over the curtain, sorry, over the area, so that it kind of blacks out the area, no one can see in. Um, but yeah, this was the first panel where it's like, okay, he's an absolute nut job, and even worse later on, obviously. But yeah, it was the first panel that he's quite close up and looks psychotically scary compared to like the normal happy smile that he's got. Like, obviously, let's go back a page, bottom left there, as you can see, holding Yuta's hand. He's all like calm and collected and stuff. But then you go next page and he's just like having a moment. So we'll get her. Very cool. Wanted to post this. Wanted to talk about this one. This one's super awesome. Moving on. Again, obviously, I like the way the story was unfolding here. Gojo is going to end up in who knows how many of these episodes if we do these for all of the Jujutsu Kaisen. Which I'd like to, obviously. But I kind of liked how he's kind of trying to get somewhere, and the guy's like, "Oh, your opponent is me," and he just like pulls eye out, and it's like, "I'm busy right now." That eye is kind of like that panel there. I don't know, the dots in the back kind of shading. I know that's just nothing and they're just filling in space, but there's always a meaning. There's always a meaning with these things. There's always intent. Like, there's always a message that's trying to be portrayed. So that's kind of maybe like a heated moment, and he just looks like he's not stressing, but pressed, just a tad pressed. Even though he's got the eyes, he's just a tad trying to minimize casualties and deaths with all these curses being released everywhere, thanks to Ghetto. Anyways, yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool panel, so added that one to the ZMM's tops. Let's go forward. Next one, again, Panda falling down, and it's kind of like, I'll break the curtain. Ghetto's having a little moment of realization. Very cool. Nothing too crazy. I like how there's nothing in the background, just to kind of give it like like it's a thought kind of thing. It's more in imagination. It's more in thought. That's why there's nothing there, I'd like to think. And Jolt, obviously, he feels something. But what I really liked about this page that I wanted to capture was obviously Panda coming through the wall. Now that I look at this panel, obviously it portrays him smashing through the walls to get like the fastest route to Ghetto, to stop him and to save Yuta and the others. Excuse me. But it's got almost a Terminator vibe. um, the movement and the way they've portrayed him smash into the wall. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's sick. Um, but yeah, no, I thought that was pretty cool. Moving on. This is kind of again I screenshotted this one as well because it's when he's just kind of like lets Rika out like full um manifests. Yeah, it lets Rika manifest flat out. Because it's do or die at this point for Utah. So he's just like, come now. Again, this was one of the first times I've seen, crazy drawing. And I really like that because obviously, it's meant to capture a, I don't want to say desperation, but a madness. So the lines are quite thick in the top right panel. And it says come, and he's like, obviously, you've got the black and white, the real black, thick lines in the back going up and down, and it's meant to look like a moment like where he's screaming, which he clearly is if you look at the bottom panel. But I really like the close up, and the eyes is like the lines are very thin on the eyelid, so that's kind of giving you like a rattly kind of look and feel. But the artwork all in and of itself in the right page is very chaotic. It's very rough. It's very messy. It's very, it's not organized. It's like a sketch almost. It's just meant to symbolize chaos. Like letting Rika out. So that's portrayed well. Message received in that sense. Like it looks really cool. It shook me a little bit when I saw this page. I was like, oh shit, let's go. Let's go. And obviously come on Rika, and Rika comes out like screaming and ready to kill, and he's obviously full blown desperation at this point. And then in the left page there's this kind of moment. Obviously the panel at the top, special grade, vengeful cursed spirit, Rika Orimoto completely manifested for the second time. And Geto's just like, you're going to die, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you. One's super calm, the other one's complete, melt. Meltdown. But at the same time, Ghetto's, this is the Ghetto I was saying before, like he's usually calm and smiling, but then that panel of when he like put the curtain was like greed and evil, psychotic, which was crazy. The manga's shaping out to be pretty sick. I think might be the might be nearing the end. 12 minutes in already. Yeah, this is the moment where he realizes that she didn't necessarily curse him, he cursed her, Rika, because he's like, obviously, he's like, no, the top panel is him standing on the street, and the balls with the black lines, those are his thoughts that's going through his head. I think that's his heartbeat, obviously, rocking. Yeah, so this was when she got hit. That was the road in front of him, and those were his thoughts. Like, Rika, no, you're gonna die. I have to save her. Don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. All that psychotic, maniacal kind of emotion is what manifested and cursed the girl, who ended up becoming that spirit that's with him. He refused to let Rika die as he kind of observes. Again, white background, nothing really to say. So that's more in thought. Geto has a little speech about, the curse severs the bond tying servant to master. If the curse doesn't desire punishment, then the curse breaks. Judging by the way things look, you already know that. And he just, yeah, it was a very nice page, this one. He has the moment realizing it's all his fault, and he cries and breaks down, and is, obviously just saying thank you, and very special, very heavy, very, very nice, very good to read. That was it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was so this was just the manga moments from chapter 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So chapter 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. So the 4 chapters which speak about Yuta's backstory up until pretty much a little bit after here and before the actual main Jujutsu Kaisen even starts. And really cool panels, some really sick panels. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. And there's a movie made for this for people, that kind of watch before even the show starts, which is again called Jujutsu Kaisen Zero because it's chapter zero. So 4 chapters they made into a movie, which is pretty cool. And the movie's pretty sick. I've seen the movie. I watched the movie again with the show, and yeah, I never read the manga, so I'm doing that now. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. I don't want to go for too long. Um, but good to know. And we need about 2 to 3 minutes a page. The way things look, maybe 2 minutes per page. Um, but yeah, no, it's super cool. I'm probably gonna do like a chapter 1 to 10 of Jujutsu Kaisen moving forward, like 10 chapters. And just have some of the coolest panels from those and talk about those. This was only 4 chapters, and um, we got some, there was a decent number of slides, but yeah, some of the chapters that I've been reading aren't too big, so it's not too crazy. But anyways, that was episode 1 of Zanithan's manga moments. Hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments what you think of chapter 0. If you haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen, watch it. If you haven't seen chapter 0, watch it. If you haven't read it, read it. It's amazing. I super recommend. This is like obviously flagship. Um, JJK, everyone knows that, but yeah, definitely recommend it. That's gonna be it for this one. Done it now.